We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, the podcast where we dive deep into the art of songwriting, chat with some of the most exciting artists in the world, and explore the stories behind their songs. I'm your host, Simon Fink, and thank you for joining us. Our guests today on the podcast are indie rock trio, the Band Camino. The Nashville-based band, made up of Jeffery Jordan, Spencer Stewart, and Garrison Burgess, have been making music together for a decade now. Formed during college, their sound blends power pop hooks with emotional, heart-on-sleeve indie rock, creating songs that connect deeply with their fan base. Over the years, they've toured with artists like Dan Shay and Valley, and they've built up a devoted following along the way. Now today marks the release of their third studio album, NeverAlways. It's a bold and emotional addition to their discography, still very much a Band Camino record, but with added electronic flourishes that subtly expand their sonic world. In today's episode, we're joined by all three members of the Band Camino to talk all things NeverAlways. We discuss the process behind making this new record and how it reflects exactly where the band are in 2025, a time capsule of their current selves. We talk about the influence of the Nashville music scene and how the environment around them shapes how they write and create. We also break down one of the tracks off the new album, and we touch on their upcoming return to Australian stages. Now we want to say a massive thank you to Thomas for his help with today's interview and remind everyone that NeverAlways, the brand new record from the Band Camino, is out right now. You can find links in the show notes on where you can stream the album, buy tickets to their Australian tour, and follow the guys across their social media channels. While you're doing that, don't forget to follow us across all of our social media channels as well, and subscribe to this very podcast. All details are in the show notes, and if you can, it really does help us out. It keeps you up to date with each and every new episode and guest. Now let's get into it. Here is our conversation with the Band Camino.
Ever think we could have worked out? Are you busy? What you doing right now? Do you wanna come over to my house? Stupid question. I say yes when I should say no.
Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Jeffery, Spencer and Garrison. It is the Band Camino. Gentlemen, hello, how are we?
Hello.
Living the dream, man.
We're living the dream. Release week.
Release week is correct. There's a brand new record coming out from the Band Camino. It is called NeverAlways. Congratulations. It's an exciting time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're very pumped. We've been in the trenches for the last almost year working on this album. So to be a day out feels very good.
I imagine it is an exciting time. Obviously, the hard work that you've put in, it's finally kind of like payoff. You get to share and show people the effortless hours, all the time, the effort put in, the blood, sweat and tears. It's the third record in the discography of the band. Is there anything that you guys do as like a tradition or like a ritual for release week? Is there any kind of celebration that will take place today when the album is out, when people are listening to our chat? Is there anything you guys usually do to kind of acknowledge the album coming out?
I don't know. Do we have a tradition?
No, not really. I mean,
yeah, it's so spread out, like putting out an album every 2 to 3 years kind of thing. It's like, I think we've traditionally had some sort of release party, which was hosted in Nashville this year. So release event, play some songs acoustic, get to see some people and sell the record in person for the first time, which is really sick. So, but I think mostly just like bask in it's a release, but it's also like such a release, like internally for us, like emotionally, and like to let go of like the songs and to like, we're already working on new songs and we have a tour coming up and, and we're working on a bunch of things already for what's next. So it's kind of nice to be able to like hand these over and like see what the world will do with them and go ahead and start making something else. It's like you get to let it go. So it's going to feel good. It does feel good.
100%. I imagine sometimes, and we speak to a lot of artists around this kind of release, that it's almost like relinquishing control. It's that last little thing that you've had kind of to do with the project, and as you said, you're already onto the next thing, or with touring and everything else, and it means that it's finally out there. There's nothing more that can be changed. It's almost it's out into the world.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, I think that's pretty common for artists. It's like the art is never done until somebody makes you be done with it. So it's pretty hard to put a limit on it. But yeah.
It is a fantastic record, and thank you very much for allowing us to have a listen before it has come out today. In preparation for today, I did kind of read that I think one of you mentioned this wasn't an album that you could have made 5 years ago, that it's very much of the time and the space that you were all in, kind of creatively and mentally and everything else. I'm curious why it was that kind of way this time around, in terms of that it couldn't have been made, a few years ago, or that it wouldn't be made this time, maybe in 4 years in the future.
I think a lot of reasons. I think first is just because we're continuously growing and changing as people, and our tastes are changing as we grow, and we all listen to a lot of music and what's happening in culture and music constantly. So I think our taste just evolves and changes over time, and each album is an attempted snapshot into us at the time. So this album is kind of it's a snapshot of our last couple of years, and our tastes and where we're at as a band and as people, and the things we've gone through. And I think that's probably the main reason. Another reason, I think it's just this album feels a lot more free for us, as far as just making what we want to make. Not that we haven't always made what we want to make, but I think we said this, we were talking about this earlier, is as you grow as an artist and you gain fans and you gain people and a team around you in the industry and fans around you that are showing up to the shows and making your dreams come true, there becomes this expectation of oh, this is what they sound like. We want, we're expecting this kind of thing. And so you're kind of, as an artist, you're always kind of wanting to grow. And I think a lot of art, I think you said this the other day, but art is continuously pushing boundaries and changing and growing. And so you're caught between this limbo of wanting to honor the fans and give them, not abandon them. You don't want to come out and put out something crazy that's oh, this is, we didn't ride the horse that got us here. But also, we're not trying to make the same song over and over and over again, So it's how do we continuously stay the Band Camino and honor the people that got us here, and hopefully give them something that they love, but also continuously push the envelope and grow and change and take listeners on a journey throughout every album. I think some of my favorite bands have done the best job at always sounding like we saw Coldplay last night in Nashville, and bucket list concert for all of us, and one of our favorite bands. And, they always sound like Coldplay, but they've had evolutions and different albums, and they've changed and they've grown. I think so many of our favorite bands have been able to do that while still maintaining a sound. And that's so hard to do. But
I would 100% agree with that. I know that Coldplay has been in the world's discussion lately for reasons other than their music, but they, to your point, do that very well. It's a thing of that I believe artists also want to be engaged and tested and tried in a way. It's a lovely thing for the fans, and as you said, I think what was the expression you used, the horse that you rode in on, you don't want to kind of change that too much, but it's also having yourselves wanting to find that passion with not making the same thing and not kind of copying and pasting and doing it that way. In terms of being in the studio, how do you push that limit? How do you kind of find, for you three anyway, how do you find that line of not going too far and making something that's too experimental, but that is still very much at its core the Band Camino?
I think it's just a lot of trial and error probably for us. We made 50 songs for this album, and it just comes down to song selection and then how we dress them all up, and how we produce them. Because I think there are some demos that probably sound too far out, and then we bring them back in, or vice versa. It's this sounds just this doesn't sound like we want it. This doesn't sound fresh enough. Let's make it weirder or something. I don't know.
And we also have people in our lives, and we each three have our own checks and balances, people wise, to know when we've not done enough or done too much, or when something feels authentic, they'll tell us and let us know if it feels, if it feels still like what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and I think too, like, it's almost even as the sound can change, as long as it's like feels authentic to us, you know, it's probably allowed.
Yeah.
You know? And the other thing is, like, I feel like with an album, you have a whole body of songs, so you do have like, I feel like have a balance of it. You can have those outliers that are like kind of pushing the envelope. You have a couple anchors that are like, we know these are going to serve the core fan base, or even like, we love this because it reminds us of like when we first started the band, like this is the shit we were on, and like this is also like where music is at now. So it's, and then hopefully tying all that together to give the album, like, it sounds like a certain, you know, you can kind of categorize it in a way. But
I was wondering if I might be a little bit indulgent and ask about Can't Go Back. That was my favorite track on the record. I thought that was just a beautiful track. Wondering whether you might be able to share, I guess, where it kind of came from, or the creation of the song itself.
We wrote that one with a friend in Nashville. He goes by Rudy. He's a producer. His name's Noah Knuckles. And then the guy named Charlie Martin, who is in a band called Howdy. And I don't know, that song kind of reminds us a little bit of like old Band Camino. It has like some My Thoughts on You energy, which is like one of our first earlier tracks that like did well in our early days for us. But it just started with a voice memo of a upright piano. That piano progression that's in there, it was just a voice memo of that piano, and we kind of looped it, and we kind of built it around that. It's definitely one of the more like, I don't know how to, it's just like,
it's not electronic, but it's sort of adjacent. It's like it's not quite rock, and it's not really pop either necessarily. It's sort of in the mid. It's sort of like a,
yeah, it kind of lives in this like it's chill. We never kind of like brought it all the way to like full Band Camino rock mode or anything. We kind of just made it like kind of this little vibe. I don't know. It was one of those that like felt like it didn't need to be overproduced or overdone. Like we produced that one with Rudy, and Garrison co-produced it as well. So like kind of we finished it out on our own when we got the track from him. And I don't know. It was one of those, like, I think we might not have, like we were saying, we might not have put that song on an album 5 years ago, because it's not necessarily like it's not like in a way like demanding to be. It's not like this insanely loud guitar riff. It's not like flaunty or like you got to listen to this. It's like, it doesn't sound like super aggressive or in your face, but it's just like pleasant and nice, and it feels like a breath of fresh air, and it's kind of peaceful in a way. Like, I don't know. I think we just were like, we love the way this makes us feel, and it doesn't necessarily feel like maybe someone would have been like, this is the biggest song in the world, but like it feels good to us. So like, I'm glad that you like that one.
It was a gorgeous track. There's a number of great tracks on this album, gentlemen. So again, congratulations on the album. You just mentioned kind of that there were co-writers on there. I know that, who was it? I think Jonah Shai, Gabe Simon, just to name a few, Captain Cuts. Wondering what it's like when you are collaborating, like what is that process like for the three of you? And I imagine it maybe changes each time with each different collaborator, or how you kind of approach it.
yeah, I think you said it perfectly. It's pretty different. I mean, there are definitely common threads, but a lot of them are very different. Like, for example, with Gabe, we met with him and we just hung out the first day, and he just asked us a bunch of questions. He basically was treating it like a therapy session. I think is like it was
like
sort of
therapy session.
Yeah, that's kind of how he addressed it and how he started it. So like we had a couple of days with him, and the first day, that's all we did was just sit and talked, which was it was really awesome. It's like it's a cool intention to set at the beginning of a write, and it's not like that's not like a super common thing. But then with Noah, it was like we walked in and we sort of had an idea of what was going on, and he's just sort of a vibe as a person. So we were more inclined to maybe try something that wasn't wasn't quite down the middle as some other things might be production style wise, which leads us to think about different song types. Not every song is meant for every genre or every style of music, I guess.
I would love to kind of get your opinion on, then I know that the Nashville scene, I know you've mentioned Nashville a few times, it's where the band is based. I'm not sure if all three of you, I think Garrison, you're Arkansas like
That's where
native?
I'm from, but I've lived in Nashville for 10 years. So moved here before they were even here. And then this is where we met. So
Right.
we've all
Sorry.
been here for 10 years now. No, good.
How you find that Nashville scene? I think that people know Nashville as like a music town and a music community. I was lucky enough to head over there in 2017, and I don't think that from an outsider's perspective you realize really how important music is to that city until you're there and you kind of see it in person and kind of get to interact with it. How you find that as a creative space, I want to almost kind of say, if that makes sense, like how you use collaborators, how you find the city itself, and how that kind of plays into the band creating music.
I think it has like amazing pros and also some cons, probably because it's so like, I mean, Nashville's amazing, and there are like so many, you can throw a rock and you're going to hit a songwriter or an artist. So it's like, in a way, I think we're all very thankful for that community and very thankful to feel kind of like a little like it's normal, you know. I think where we're from and like our smaller towns, or like we're from, you know, each from Arkansas, we're from Memphis. It's like the people that are like doing music full time. It's a smaller, way smaller percentage of people than in Nashville. It's Nashville. It's like everybody's doing it. So it is like, it's great for the community, and it's great for just like having like-minded friends and everybody's ambitious. It's like, it's good to be around, and we've also been able to just meet like so many people that have shaped our careers and like mentored us and poured into us, and we've learned from and gotten to make music with, and we definitely wouldn't be where we are without the community that we have here. But at the same time, it can sometimes be draining because like every single person is trying to do what you're doing, and you're like, I don't feel like an artist. I feel like another person, just like going to a 9 to 5 in a way, which is like good and bad. But in like where we're from, it was like I was the only person. We were like one of the only bands like there you know, that were like doing it full time, and we're like, oh, like we feel like we're different. We have like an edge. We're like beating the system. You know what I mean? And here we're like, we are the system. So it's but I think all in all, very thankful for it, and we wouldn't be where we are without the community here.
I absolutely love that. I am aware that there's a number of US tour dates that are coming up, I think in the coming month or so, and then you're pretty much on the road end of the year, start of next year, which I will get to the Australian dates in a second. Curious for you, how are you feeling about taking this new album into that live space and kind of bringing these songs to the fans?
So ready, man.
So pumped,
ready,
dude. Yeah.
Ready to do that. I mean, that's obviously we love spending time making the music and conceptualizing and making melodies and getting inspired and all that's amazing and a beautiful part of it. But I think we definitely hang our hats on the live show. We've definitely, that's where we've made our, what do they say? What's the phrase? Made our bones? Is that a thing?
I don't know. Made our marks.
We love touring.
Made our bones, dude.
So I think I might have just made a phrase up. We made our bones doing that. Something to do with bones. I don't know. But anyway, we love touring, and we're, you know, people have connected with our live show. And when we're writing, we think about how it's going to translate into a live setting a lot of the time. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, dude, put us on stage. We're ready. We've been making this album for like a year. It's like, we got to get out. We got to go outside.
Also, we're just cooped. Yeah.
We've been cooped up.
In the words of Jeffery Jordan.
We've been cooped up,
I've been cooped up.
And it's been a long time coming for just like getting back out. You know, a lot of these cities we haven't played since 2023. And Nashville show just sold out. That's the last show of the US tour. And we're just ready, man. We're so lucky to have a fan base that shows up live. Like, you know, that's like the most important part of the business in our opinion. And like being an artist is like, can you put bodies in a room? And like somehow I feel like I'm always terrified when we haven't toured in like a year or more that like, I'm like, we're going to do a 4,000 cap venue in Nashville. Like, where are those people? Where do they come from? And like put it up and it's like, boom, tickets are selling. We're like, dude, this is sick. We're really thankful and excited to just, you know, give everybody a great show that comes out.
Look, I'm very, very excited to see how these shows play out. And then there are some Australian shows, again, which I'll touch on in one more second. I'm curious, because obviously the nice thing about that live space, and I think, as you said, like transitioning those songs into that live arena, is that you can kind of play around with them a little bit more. The arrangement can change. You can change the sonics of it in a way. Is there a track from this new album that you guys are, let's not say like favorite, but maybe you're most looking forward to bringing into that live space and seeing how it does translate into the live arena?
I'm really looking forward to Infinity. I think that's one that we were
Infinity,
all looking forward to.
No.
and Limbo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic tracks. Very excited for that. As we said, there are some Australian dates. They are coming through in February. It's kind of exciting because you're only here last year, and so fans are snapping up these tickets. They're excited to see you. Curious what you guys remember from your trip last year, and was that the first time down to Australia?
First time.
How'd you find it?
We did all of the classic first time things. We saw koalas and kangaroos.
Over in Perth, yeah.
No.
And ate some good food. The shows were amazing.
We went to Bondi.
Yeah, we went to Bondi. We did all that you're supposed to do the first time.
Did a shoey. That was cool.
Did a shoey
on stage.
Yeah, that was
Really happy.
I survived it. So
Yeah.
I guess the
made it home.
germs, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird tradition that we have that I don't understand why we have, but it seems to be a thing that Australians.
I just like that I like that everybody, once one person brings it up, it's like everyone's like, yeah, you got to do it. You have to do it or else you might get.
Yeah.
It seems to be a thing of it's raised and then you can't ignore it once it has been brought up, as you mentioned. So, look, hopefully it's not brought up too many times in this next trip in Feb. We're very excited to see you guys, regardless of whether there's drinks consumed from shoes. We'll make sure that there are dates and ticket details in the podcast show notes for today. Gentlemen, I am curious. We usually kind of wrap things up asking, I guess, what they're currently listening to for all three of you, and maybe I'll go alphabetically. So we'll start with Garrison. What you're currently listening to. Is there anything that's on high rotation for you at the moment?
Oh man, I legitimately just made a list earlier today. Let me pull it up real quick, just because I don't want to get this wrong. Okay, yeah. So honestly, Baloo Brigada has been a thing that I've been really into lately. I know they're kind of popping right now.
Are they Australian?
New Zealand, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they've been sick. And then the new John Bellion stuff has been on repeat for me.
I didn't listen to it.
It's awesome. But yeah, those are my answers.
I gotta listen to that. I feel like I haven't heard anyone talking about it.
Dude, it's great.
It's a very interesting album, but it's a good one. Jeffrey, what about yourself?
Obviously the new Biebs. Bump the new Biebs.
Mm-hmm.
New Bieber.
The Biebs.
Bumping the Biebs, bro. We were talking about Joe earlier. I don't know your answer if that's what you.
Oh no, I'm looking. I have to go through my Spotify. Sorry.
Yeah, Joe.
Oh, Turnstile.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's an artist named Ethan Tash, Tash, I think, and it's kind of like Americana, acoustic, indie folk. I don't know what you would describe it as. It's really just comforting and like nice sounding. That was one of my top artists of the year last year, and I think it might be again this year.
Sick. I'll definitely have to look him up. That sounds really, really good. Spencer, what about yourself?
This is the same answer I feel like I've given to this question like maybe 2 or 3 years in a row, but it still stands true. There's this band from Wisconsin called Slow Pulp. And they're amazing. It's sort of like a Midwestern shoegaze guitar riff, but they play in open tunings and their songwriting is really good. And they are coming to Nashville on my birthday in September. So I'm for sure going to that. So it's on the top of my mind right now, but I'm really looking forward to it. But love that band.
Slow Pulp?
Slow Pulp. Oh, yeah. Pulp like orange, like OJ Pulp.
Cool. Okay. I just want to make sure I got it right because that sounds very interesting. So I want to make sure I look it up correctly. Gentlemen, Jeffrey, Spencer, Garrison, the Band Camino, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast and having a chat with us today. Very excited to share Never Always is the album that's out right now. We'll make sure there are links in the podcast show notes for people to buy tickets and buy the album. But thank you again for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, Simon.